Hi, my name is Jason Borofka. I'm out here at the California Delta. Today it's Thursday the 25th, and got out here first thing in the morning. Oh, actually it wasn't first thing in the morning. I wish I got out here first thing in the morning. It was about 7:30, 7:45, and just missed the tide switch. But I was started down here in South Delta, Stockton area, and started fishing just outside of spawning pockets with chatterbait. It was probably about 6 feet deep or so, just on little points, and I mean, the first 30 minutes was just crazy. It was like 12, 15 fish. My first fish was a 6, and in between all that I lost a nice big one. And then as the day went on, the tide went out, and I just started running around looking for just new water. I hadn't been out here in a while, and we got a couple upcoming tournaments like the Yamamoto tournament coming up, and there's an FLW in a couple weeks too as well. But yeah, I started running around and just kind of looking for little shady spots to pitch my Cinco underneath, and caught a couple decent ones on the Cinco in between while I was looking around. Saw a lot of beds. I didn't bed fish. I didn't plan on coming up here to do that. I just planned on driving around and looking at water, checking it out. And yeah, 6-inch Cinco. There's no secret to that. The only secret is the hook there. That's a new CHT double wacky hook, the new version of it. It's a little larger. Better for the 6-inch, 7-inch Cincos, and that's primarily what I use out here on the Delta. And yeah, even for the upcoming Yamamoto tournament, you know, I mean, you can catch big ones on those little Cincos, but in that tournament, that's a big bass. It's called the Big Bass Challenge. So you want to use something big, and you need a nice wacky hook like that to get it done. And then tide switched, and I decided to just even go bigger. Actually, I had a decent bag, had a couple 5-pounders already, and some 3s, and we have 4 in there. So I started running around with a Osprey here, and I'll tell you what, I would get crushed on this thing by a big one, and then I would catch a 2-pounder on it. It's so unbelievable. I mean, that thing's all tore up, and I think most of those bites are just from the 2-pounders I caught on it. But I did one little thing to it. As the tide started to get higher and it got over the grass, I took the weight out of it, so that way I just kind of wake it right over the grass, and that way I can just kind of just pitch it lightly right up in little pockets of real short casts. And hey, I don't think the really color matters. Guys use all white or light hitch colors. The Delta, they're pretty opportunistic, so they'll pretty much grab any big bait that goes by. A lot of fish they're all over the place. They're spawning, pre-spawn, post-spawn. I've seen huge fish suspended in their docks that are this big around. I caught a couple fish that look like they spawned out.
Tell me about the water clarity.
Oh, the water clarity was a lot dirtier than I was expecting it to be. I haven't been up into the Frank's Track area. I did go into Mildred's, and it was a lot dirtier than I expected. So I would say I saw maybe 4 feet was the farthest down I could see anywhere in this place. I tended to get larger bites in the dirtier water, and there had to be grass and rocks together, or it had to be just outside of some type of spawning pocket or flooded island just on the outside of it. So I see fish on the move everywhere. I would imagine, I mean, it's been really windy. I would think it starts to heat up the next week. I mean, they're just going to be loaded on beds. It's full moon right now. There's beds everywhere. If you go to Mildred's, you'll see beds everywhere. I only saw a handful of large fish on them though. So I do know that in some of the areas there was some big spawning going on 2 weeks ago, and there was some large fish caught, but there's still a lot of beds to be made, and there's a lot of pre-spawn fish still.
What temp range did you find?
First thing in the morning, I was reading about 63, 64. I think right now it's getting up in the upper 60s. So I really didn't tuck into any backwater stuff, and I imagine that's got to be warm. That's got to be pushing 70 by this time of the day.
You want to talk about flipping at all?
You know, I got bit a little bit flipping today, but I stuck one and it just came off as little. I was just having fun throwing the reaction, and I'm just giving these wacky hooks a run too with the Cinco. I've been fishing with them at a couple lakes now. having some good successes. The first time I brought them out to the Delta, I just wanted to check and see how weedless they were, and they worked great. So I really didn't want to go flipping. I just pitch Cincos in little pockets, and I like to run around and throw swim baits and reaction baits mostly. But if I have to, I'll flip if, you know, the upcoming tournaments. I think as more post-spawn fish happen, fish will be tucking underneath the mats more and deeper back cuts. So I think that might come into play coming up. But
did you tie on frog at all?
I did not. I thought about it all day, and I would see a nice little mat, a nice little pocket to pitch into, and then I was just lazy. Like I said, I'm out here fun fishing. I'm not fishing a tournament, and I didn't realize how many times I actually come to the Delta, my home water, and don't fun fish. I always show up here and I fish pre-fish, and I never catch anything because I cut my hooks off, and then here comes tournament, and then I have my fun and catch the fish. But to come out here and just have fun, I mean, I'm sure people are watching this that don't fish tournaments. You should just come out the Delta because it's on fire. This is one of the better years that I've heard of, so I was excited to come today. It was pretty fun. I caught probably 25 fish today. It was pretty fun.
How many double digits are going to come in at Yamamoto?
I would say more than the last 2 years, just because the date is a little earlier, and there's already been a lot of double digits caught in just about every single tournament that's been happening over the last every weekend. I mean, there's more double digits I've heard of than the last couple of years, easily. And I know that Frank's track is starting to get better, from what I heard, and yeah, if that place gets really good, and there could be a bunch of them come out of there. I've seen photos. I think we've all seen photos of a few 15s. I've seen a picture of one that was just under 17 caught, and this year. So, you know, and I don't know. We'll see. You know, who knows? Hopefully the wind lays down, and even if the wind doesn't, it's still going to be good, because it was good today, and it was blowing. There was whitecaps down the channel.
Anything to say about the vegetation on the Delta today?
Yeah, I noticed there's been maybe some spraying going on. You know, there was a few areas. The area I started on, I remember last year there wasn't vegetation. There wasn't that much there, and then I got there today, just started there, and it was just how I like it. There was just enough between the toolies, and I mean, between the drop off and the toolies, there's just enough there for me to get my chatterbait through. But yeah, there's not a whole lot where I seen today, and I stayed mainly south, so I didn't run up into Sycamore, or I didn't go to, you know, anywhere far, so I don't know. I'll know next week though. I'm sure it's Delta. There's got to be somewhere where it's thick green vegetation.
All right, we'll see you at Yamamoto.
Yeah, I'll be there. See you guys.